If Elon Musk were a comic book character, he would low-key be Lex Luthor, the richest man in the DCU. Luckily for Elon, he doesn't have meta-humans in his reality. Despite being the richest and smartest human in the DCU, Lex is best known for his eternal beef with this guy.
Hey buddy, eyes up here.
I'm living in that 21st century, doing something mean to it.
And his jealousy of him. But what if I told you that Lex doesn't hate Superman because he's jealous of him, but because the Man of Steel is holding humanity back? Welcome to the library, a digital syllabus for champions. My name is Donnie, and this video will be exploring the psychology of Lex Luthor, the saltiest billionaire in fiction. I don't want to spend too much time on Lex's origin, but for context, the original Lex Luthor was a mad scientist who was a ginger. Later on, a story was adapted that made Lex a kid who grew up in Smallville with Superman. One day, Lex had an experiment go wrong, which made him permanently bald, which he blamed on Superman, thus causing his lifelong hatred towards the Man of Steel. But the modern version of Luthor's origin is the one I like the most. Alexander Joseph Luthor was born in the slums of Metropolis to an abusive family, poverty, and constant struggles. The only thing Lex had was his brilliant mind and his cruel nature, both of which he used to build LexCorp, and an empire so vast that he essentially built half of what we today know as Metropolis. Lex is a scientist, yes, but he is also a businessman, probably the most intelligent human on Earth, even more intelligent than the Dark Knight. A sociopath of high intelligence, driven, cruel, but strongly motivated by honor and his desire for progress.
A sociopath of high intelligence, driven, cruel, but strongly motivated by honor.
Before we begin, I'll start out by saying that I never really liked Superman. However, after watching the new movie and making this video, I have to admit that the big boy in blue is kind of growing on me. But for the sake of this video, I will be playing devil's advocate and speaking from the perspective of Lex Luthor. Now, the jealousy that Lex has is blatantly obvious.
I'm aware envy consumes my every waking moment. 13L.
If Superman didn't exist, Lex would easily be the richest and most powerful man on the planet, which is crazy to think about when you consider the fact that he's already one of the richest and most powerful. But alas, an alien had to come down from the stars and steal his shine. But what if there's more to Lex's hatred than his jealousy? What if Lex Luthor low-key has a point? Necessity is the mother of invention. The age-old saying, humanity lived in icy climates, so we created coats and fires. Humanity could not hunt for food or gather fruits year-round, so we created agriculture. Humanity did not have a platform for idiots to speak their mind, so we created Twitter. These are all as a result of a need for better, a need for more. Whether it be more survival, more comfort, or more power, it seems that all of our great accomplishments as a species, all of our great progressions, come as a result of a need. The feeling of not having. So then I pose this question to you. What happens when we do not need many of these things? We no longer need to create safety systems. We no longer need to resolve our own conflicts. And we no longer need to decipher what is right from wrong. Why? Because there is a flying, invincible, beautiful alien that can do all of these things for us. A war between us is about to happen. Superman can fly in and destroy both sides in an afternoon without any casualties. We need to keep our citizens safe through law enforcement and better systems. Nah, we don't need to. Every time there is a crime happening, Superman will just swoop in and sort it out. Oh, there is a political or economic conflict happening in another country, and we don't know who's in the right or the wrong. No problem. Superman will just swoop on in, decide who he thinks is in the right, and then threaten the other side. And we will all cheer for it. Us, the well-behaved, well-mannered fans of the Man of Steel. This is the base of why Lex hates Superman so much. Or at least it's the logical side of things. Here's the thing, people. Like it or not, humans only seem to get off their butts and do things when their lives or something very grave is at stake. The only reason people go to work, stay in shape, socialize, or progress in life is rooted in our basic needs and seeing them fulfilled. Strength breeds complacency. Complacency breeds comfort, and comfort is the end of progress. If your parents always did everything for you, then you would never grow up. And the same can be said for Superman and even superheroes in general. Lex Luthor feels that with an all-powerful being flying around us, we neglect our own weaknesses and evolving as a species, because we know we can rely on him. As much as it pains me to say it, Lex is kinda right, bro. Then there's the political and legal side of things. Superman does not represent a particular country, does not operate under any local or international laws, and essentially does whatever he wants. We should all be grateful that he's such a nice guy, because we've all seen what happens when someone with his power isn't a good person.
You're fighting so you can watch everyone around you die. Think, Mark. You'll outlast every fragile, insignificant being on this planet.
If you've seen the recent Superman movie, at the start of it, Superman flies to a country in the Middle East and prevents a war from happening. To be honest, he was preventing a massacre from happening. Now, what he did was the right thing, and I have no problem with it. But let's analyze this for a second. He entered another country illegally, destroyed millions of dollars worth of military equipment, and then proceeded to threaten the country's president. There's a reason why we have passports. There's a reason why you can't just walk into a country that you're not from and do whatever you want. And there are laws in each country that are different. Superman, in that moment alone, broke I don't know how many international and regional laws. And here's the thing, he kinda does this all the time. We just don't realize it. Now, so do the other heroes, technically. But Superman is a special case because of his immense power. Batman commits things like assault and other offenses every night. But Batman's jurisdiction rarely stretches outside of Gotham City. Plus, Batman only goes for criminals, not international warlords and politicians. Flash, Green Arrow, and heroes like Mr. Terrific are the same. Aquaman exists in the sea, where there are no humans, and the Green Lanterns take care of space, so they are rarely even on Earth. But Superman? His jurisdiction is Earth. Yes, he mainly operates in Metropolis, but because of his powers, he can go anywhere in the world and be the deciding factor in any conflict. Add that to the fact that he is American and does not abide by the laws or structures of America if they get in the way of what he's trying to do, and you will see my point. The point is, the law exists for a reason, to govern the actions of humanity, to keep us in check, to ensure that we do not live like animals in the wild. But there are no laws that govern metahumans, and there are definitely no laws that govern Kryptonians. Superman is a being that operates on his own, does not answer to anyone, and is not governed by the same laws as you or I. And not only does nobody call him out for it, but we praise him for it. A being that is far superior to everyone else, does not have to follow any of the rules because we like him, and is loved by all, doesn't sound like a hero. It sounds more like a god to me. A hero is someone who stands for something, fights for something, usually against unmatched odds. What does Superman stand for? Hope? You know, I was always on Captain America's side during the Civil War. Superheroes should be allowed to act with autonomy and shouldn't be held back by legal constraints. If a hero sees something wrong in the world, she should be allowed to try and fix it. But the more I think about it, maybe Tony was right.
We may not be perfect, but the safest hands are still our own.
If we don't do this now, it's going to be done to us later.
As I stated before, Lex Luthor is a scientist and a businessman. Yes, he is extremely petty and downright childish at times.
Lex, I know there's good in you.
He's also a supreme narcissist.
I know when they mention Galileo or Einstein or one of these other twits in the same breath as me, I feel a tide of vomit burn the back of my throat.
But at the end of the day, he tends to put the money first. How he feels about Superman's political and social influence makes sense when you look at it from that perspective.
Last time I saw you, you were denying metahumans were a threat. The Justice Gang and Superman determining international politics.
I'll end off by talking about two instances within the show Young Justice that really showcase the psychology of Lex Luthor. The first is Lex's relationship with Superboy. When Superboy first came into the show, he was neglected and ignored by Superman. This was because Superboy was made by Cadmus, a company owned by Lex Luthor. From Superman's perspective, Superboy was made by the bad guys, so he's bad too. Superman exists in a world of black and white, right and wrong. But as we all know, the world isn't so clear-cut.
What has he given you? Nothing. Not even affection. And why? Because Big Boy Blue lives in a world of black and white. You were created by the bad guys, so there must be something wrong with you.
Superman cannot exist in the gray area, like Lex Luthor or Batman can. Take the war that he resolved, for example. Superman is from America, so, naturally, he watches American media. Imagine if he saw in the news that a country in Africa was slaughtering people because of the color of their hair, and all the American social media influencers agreed. So, Superman flies down to southern Africa, destroys the police force, and threatens the president, only to find out that it was all a lie, perpetrated by the very people who he thought were the good guys. The number of wars and conflicts that happen because of this are immeasurable, especially when money is involved. But Superman is so naive that he would simply fly in himself without consulting anyone.
In effect, you illegally entered a country. Did you consult with the president?
No.
You seemingly acting as a representative of the United States.
And when asked why he did so, his answer would be,
People were going to die!
The second example would be how Lex dealt with Roy Harper, or Speedy. After Speedy woke up from his cryo chamber and discovered that he was missing an arm and had been asleep for the past few years, he naturally went to seek revenge. Luthor anticipated this and was unsurprised when Roy showed up. In fact, Lex complimented Speedy on the arsenal of weapons and wit that he brought to the fight.
Quite the arsenal you brought tonight, Mr. Harper.
You haven't seen the half of it, Luthor.
Since Lex took Speedy's arm, Speedy intended on using LexCorp technology to blow up Lex's arm.
That's detonation cord, Luthor. The kind LexCorp sells illegally. It's the perfect revenge.
A poetic revenge. Lex remained calm as ever, and before Speedy knew it, he was surrounded by armed guards, pointing guns at him.
We reap what we sow, Luthor.
Indeed. But are you prepared for the harvest?
This put Roy in a predicament. He could blow up Lex's arm and get his revenge, but it would be at the cost of his life. Lex, being the man he is, waited for Speedy to decide, which angered Speedy.
You want we should take him out now, Mr. Luthor?
No, Otis. I'm content to wait patiently for young Mr. Harper's decision.
Don't mock me, Luthor!
Lex then explained to Roy that vengeance is a sucker's game.
Vengeance is a sucker's game, son. And yours can only be achieved at the cost of your own life.
And offered him what he really wanted, satisfaction. That satisfaction came in the form of a new arm, an arm that would give Roy a huge advantage in any fight. You see, Lex understood that Roy was not mad at him for taking his arm, but for taking away his identity as Speedy and replacing him with a clone. So he offered him a new identity with a new arm that he could add to his arsenal. The best part is that Lex complimented Speedy on his arsenal.
Quite the arsenal you've brought tonight, Mr. Harper. The greatest arsenal any man can bring to the party consists of the resources of his own mind, his intelligence, his stratagems, his force of will.
So when Roy became a hero again, he dropped the name Speedy and decided to go by...
And last but not least, Arsenal.
That right there is the psychology of Lex Luthor. A sociopathic narcissist of high intelligence, driven, cruel, but strongly motivated by progress.
So my envy is a calling. It is the sole hope for humanity because it is what has driven me to annihilating you.